For 5 minutes.
I want to thank Chairman. I want to thank the ranking member for having this hearing. And Mr. Secretary, it's a pleasure to be here with you today and appreciate your testimony. I'm going to go into a couple things. I know the ranking member, I've had this discussion as well as the Chairman. Are you familiar with the Arts and Industry Building?
Yes, I am.
What is that building currently being used for?
The Arts and Industries Building is probably my second favorite building on the mall, and that the Arts and Industries Building is being used for activities and events right now. The challenge with the Arts and Industries is that when it was created in 1881, it was the state-of-the-art museum. Right. Unfortunately, it's not now, and that there's millions of dollars to turn that into a more formal museum.
Well, let me ask you, Sue, were there any concrete plans for the museum in the next 3 to 5 years that you know of?
At this stage, we want to use the museum as part of the celebration for the 250th anniversary, and we're developing what those plans can be.
Well, one of the things that your staff has been great to work with. I actually got a tour of that facility. I have 3 children, but I have big age difference. I have a 22-year-old, and I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. So they came to visit me here in D.C. with the 2 and the 4-year-old. And it had been a while since I had been looking at museums, children's museums, to be honest with you. I noticed that we do have a National Children's Museum, but right now it's currently occupying what was space that was for a federal building. I'm actually the lead sponsor for the National Children's Museum Act, which is going to require GSA to actually pay the rent for that facility. But after going through that building, I truly believe that that would be a perfect location for a National Children's Museum. And I understand because of the windows, and I know that there's been a lot of, there was a remodel done in the 1940s that took some of the space, and I know it would require a lot of work. And I think that the Children's Museum is doing a fantastic job right now, but as you said, and I think your point was really well clear, the National Mall is where people come to learn about the American story. And I truly believe, like you, that's probably one of my favorite buildings on the mall, but I think it would be a great way for our children to have a place to go and to learn. And you don't have to worry about historical documents and make this more of a hands-on type of museum. Not to mention that, of course, it's located right in front of the carousel, which I believe that you guys just sent to my home state of Ohio to be resurfaced, so I think it would be a wonderful location. Any thoughts on what it would take to remodel in terms of financing a facility of that nature to make it a children's museum? And I know I'm hitting you out of the blue on this, but just roundabout numbers.
It's hard to get you an exact number. For example, we spent almost $300 million just to stabilize the roofs.
Yeah, I saw that.
And so I think it's millions of dollars to do this to make sure that it can be used in any way effectively for the public. I think if Congress says to us, explore that question, we will. And I agree with you very much that there is almost nothing more powerful than a good children's museum. And I think that while the Smithsonian does a nice job with young people in various stages, I think a children's museum is a very powerful and important thing to happen, and we'd love to have you help us talk about what's possible.
Well, and I appreciate that, Mr. Secretary, because I will tell you, I was very impressed with, and I've gone to a lot of children's museums, as you can imagine now. And we have a wonderful facility in Columbus. It's called COSI. It's a hands-on facility. I know that Indianapolis does a wonderful job. And I think the one that we have here in D.C., with the limited funds that they do a remarkable job. But it was surprising to me that we don't have something like that on the mall. And I truly believe just looking at that building, the majesty of that building, the history of that building, looking at some of the pictures, I do believe it's the type of facility that could be utilized for hands-on for children in the learning of our country. I'm going to pivot real quick because I know that there's some other questions. I only have 40 seconds, but what is the Smithsonian's long-term plan to address deferred maintenance? And you can do that in 30 seconds. You'll be a miracle worker.
The plan is, first of all, be much more strategic, to have an understanding of exactly what we have. I put new systems in place to do that. And then to look at how we can make the most impact based on the capital money that we've been given to do this. So I think that this is one of my #1 priorities. As you know, anybody's got an aging building, they're going to have problems with deferred maintenance. So we're working on this every day.
And Mr. Secretary, I'm going to give you a pass since you did send the carousel to Ohio. I won't give you a lot of pushback on the fact that we've got Wisconsin cheddar sitting on the desk there. So, Mr.